Thursday, April 22nd, 2021, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Today I want to talk about the gift of silver. I'm going to look at the markets as well, some of the charts, some stories that have come out in the last 24 hours. But what do I mean by the gift of silver? Well, I remember when I got into silver in 2003, eventually I started giving out my daughter some silver coins. I bought her a few coins from the Perth Mint that are really nice. I gave my nephew and my niece silver. I've given my niece's daughters some silver. I think it's a great gift, and it teaches not just young people, but anyone really who receives the gift of a silver coin, maybe a little bar as well, just how beautiful and nice silver is. And with that, I'd like to thank one of the viewers, Dennis from the north of England, who sent me quite a few silver coins. They're all circulating coins, pre-1920, post 1920, 1920 to 47. He sent me some of those. Those have 50% silver, but most of them were sterling silver. And he sent them through Gold Investments, and then Gold Investments shipped it to me. I don't like to give my address to the public, and you can probably understand that. So two of the coins he gave me, I actually didn't have crowns. I have a lot of half crowns. I have a lot of florins, but these two here were very nice, and I didn't have them. And they're all Victorian crowns, as you can see. There you go. Yes, they look tarnished and everything, but it's silver. So this one here is 1887, which is an important year. It's the Jubilee year for Queen Victoria, 50 years of reign. And this one is another Victoria, as you can see here. And this is 1889. So there you go. These are two crowns. And I weighed them, did the calculation. And the way you do the calculation, of course, you take the coin, you weigh them, and then you multiply the weight in grams. I weigh them in grams times 0.925, because that's how much silver they have. And they actually, just these two have almost 1 3/4 ounces of silver. It's 1.67. So Dennis, thank you very much. And for all of you out there who are silver stackers, think about the gift of silver. It's a very nice gift, and it might get the recipient interested in silver. Of course, this is not going to trigger me into getting interest in silver, because I've already been interested. But I have to say, Dennis, it was very generous of you of sending these coins to me. This is just a few of the coins you sent me, not all of the coins. These are my favorite that you sent me because I didn't have them. So what else? Well, I wanted to look at a couple of stories. First one is came out late yesterday in the FT. Probably came out in other publications or mainstream media platforms. And it's about Italy. It just goes to show that it doesn't matter what side of a political spectrum governments might be on, left or right. And I would assume that Draghi, who's a caretaker prime minister now, that's Mario Draghi, the guy who used to work for Goldman Sachs, became the president of the ECB, bailed out the Mediterranean countries during the sovereign debt crisis of 2012 by saying he's going to throw everything at it, by creating an even bigger debt bubble, by creating even more QE. He's now, unfortunately, in charge of Italy as a caretaker prime minister. What does that mean? Well, that just means that he wasn't elected, that the political class, the parliament there, chose him. And he's the third Goldman Sachs caretaker prime minister that I can remember of. since 1990. The first one I think was Romano Prodi, then Mario Monti, and now Mario Draghi. Don't worry, I don't want to become Prime Minister of Italy. I know there's a few Marios there. I have Italian passport. I haven't really lived in Italy because I was born and grew up in Brazil, but my family is of Italian descent, so I got an Italian passport. And from what I know a bit about the Italian economy, because I used to travel there a lot on business when I was in the city, I used to go at least 3 times a year to Italy to visit clients, especially to Milan, Rome, and Turin. Those are the major financial centers, I would say. That a lot of times I used to travel by train. I used to go on a business trip to Milan and then take a train down to Rome, visit clients along the way, and the rail service in Italy is very good. But now it says here Draghi plans 220 billion euro overhaul of Italy's economy. PM aims to use share of EU pandemic recovery funds for digitalization and high-speed rail. I mean, as I said, the rail system is already pretty good. I don't see how a high-speed rail will make much difference to the Italian economy. I would say the biggest problem with Italy, and I saw this a little bit last time I went there in 2019. I went to Florence, and speaking to people there, one of the big problems is the bureaucracy, the red tape. Trying to start a business in Italy is like, it takes years. In countries like the UK, you can start a company very quickly and start up and running. In Italy, there's a lot of red tape and there's a lot of corruption, big bureaucracy, I think, as well. There's a big black economy in Italy because of all this red tape and regulations. And I think that would be the most important thing for Italy to focus on. But of course, Mr. Draghi has probably a lot of friends in the financial sector. Well, not probably, definitely. And his friends are going to most probably benefit from this move from government, big governments. This is just more big government. What Italy really needs is smaller government. And I don't think this is going to work. But these people are insane, right? They keep trying the same thing over and over again. And it keeps failing. So it says Mario Draghi will next week unveil a 221 billion euro recovery package for a radical restructuring of Italy's economy as it seeks to bounce back from its deepest recession since the Second World War. Yeah, and the reason why Italy has such a big national debt to GDP is because there's big government, is because there's a big bureaucracy. All this national or government debt crowds out the private sector, and they never seem to learn. Unfortunately, the general public in Italy expects government to be in charge. So what else does it say? The plan, which features big ticket investments in high-speed rail and green energy, as well as fully digitalizing the country's public administration, will draw on the EU's Pandemic Recovery Fund. So this seems to be also part of this World Economic Forum, Fourth Industrial Revolution. It seems like the major European countries are going down this path. And it continues. It says Italy and Spain are expected to be the two largest recipients of grants from the program. The Draghi Recovery Plan, which should be approved by the Italian cabinet by the end of this week, involves 30 billion of Italian budgetary resources and 191.5 billion of loans and grants from the Next Generation EU scheme. People briefed on the plan said. And I would bet that Spain is going to go down the same route. So who's going to be paying for this? Well, this is the whole of the taxpayer base of the European Union, especially the northern countries that are surplus countries. people like the Germans are going to be paying for this. I don't think Germans should be very happy about this. So, yes, another example of big government interference. Instead of looking at the real problem, and it's unfortunate. Of course, a lot of people are going to benefit from this, but I think the resources could be spent more wisely through the private sector, because government doesn't invest properly because it's not their money. The other story I saw is from John Adams, who's continued to not hold his punches versus the establishment bullion banks in the silver market. Yesterday he tweeted, and this is very interesting, since 2nd of February 2021, when the silver squeeze movement began, more than 35 million troy ounces have left the COMEX depository warehouses. The silver squeeze movement is working. COMEX continues to bleed physical silver. We are winning the war. Keep buying. Yes, I received 20 ounces yesterday. I know it's not that much, but that's what I've been doing for years. Once in a while, I buy 20 or 10 or 50 sometimes if I have extra fiat. So yeah, I received 15 Britannias and 5 1-ounce Krugerrands from Gold Investments. Yes, I have a promo code with Oliver and Simon Temple at Gold Investments. You get 0.5% discount off the offer price. They will also match a better deal anywhere else. And you can use my promo code Maneko64. The details are below in the description of the video. So there you go. It's not stopping. It's just February 1st, actually, when that was the Monday that it started. Some people expected silver to break out then, but I thought it was just the beginning and it's taken longer. But yes, I think silver will make new highs this year. We're seeing all other major commodities make new highs or close to new highs. I don't see why silver shouldn't break that old high of around $50 this year. So with that, let's look at where the markets are this morning. It's 8:08 a.m. London time. You might be asking, where is Billy this morning? Well, he's upstairs. I try to wake him up to come down, and I nudged him a few times, and he just didn't want to get up. So I left him there. I could have picked him up and brought him down, but he needs a bit of a rest. He's getting old. He's going to be 13 this summer. So, but he'll be back. Not to worry. He's fine. So we got spot gold at 1792.40. It's down just under $1, so pretty much unchanged. The high's been 1798, the low 1788. So just show you a chart quickly of gold and why I think this 1798, 1800 level is so important. So if you look back, this is a weekly chart going back to 2005. But if you look at November 2011, let's see, March 2012, and also October 2012, we have a triple top there at just under 1800. And that's why I've been saying lately that the 1798, 1800 level is so important. But if you look at shorter term weekly chart, it definitely looks like gold is starting to take off. We're breaking this trend line here as well from the top last year in August and from a top we had back in the beginning of November 2020. So it's looking encouraging. Yeah, unchanged pretty much this morning. Silver is down about 6 cents. Silver did well yesterday. Right now is at 26.48. High's been 26.61 and the low 26.32. Dow futures is virtually unchanged, down 2 points. NASDAQ 100 future up 3. S&P 500 down less than a point. So stock markets are very quiet. The currencies, sterling is up slightly at 139.40. The euro is up 0.1 at 120.50. There is an ECB meeting today. Don't expect too much from them, except maybe to increase QE. I don't think they will ever raise rates again, the ECB, or rein in their QE. Dollar down about 0.2% versus the yen, below 108 actually. So the dollar is drifting lower versus the yen, 107.86. Dollar's down 0.14% versus the yuan, just above 648. High grade copper is down slightly. It's still quite elevated at 428. It has kind of stabilized in the last few days, but I expect copper to continue higher. It might take a while for it to move further up. We've seen crude oil come off in the last couple of days. We're down 1/3% now at 61.09. I think we're trading above 63 recently. But as I said in another video, there's a long-term trend line here, which is very important. And that just seems to be what we're doing right now, testing that line. The 10-year yield, yes, that's continued to drift off. We're now at 155, down to almost 2 basis points. I had a long chat with my friend from the city yesterday. He still works in the city. He's a big bond investor. He has a different view than I have of what things are going to be like. He thinks we're going to be in the US and Western Europe like Japan. He sees a lot of slow growth. He sees low bond yields. He thinks US Treasuries are a steal right now. He thinks those yields are going to drop even further. But at the same time, he's very bullish gold. And it does make sense to be bullish gold in a deflationary. And by deflationary, I don't mean negative CPI. I mean a moribund economy like Japan has had for the last 30 years. You also see gold do well. The price of gold in Japanese yen, for example, in the last 10 years or so, or maybe a little more, has gone from around 60,000 yen to as high as 220,000 last year. Right now, we're just below 200,000 yen. So in an economy where you've got very low bond yields, you've got a CPI that's higher than the bond yield, so you've got negative real yields, and you've got a lot of bankruptcies, you've got an economy that's not doing well, gold will shine. Do I agree with him? He could be right. But I think there's a chance as well that we're going to continue to see rising cost of living. We saw Procter & Gamble yesterday come out and announce that they're going to raise prices. I saw Coca-Cola the other day said the same. I mean, we could get a scenario where, yes, bond yields are low, the cost of living keeps rising. So it's like a inflation, deflation. It's very weird, but we could also get the loss of confidence in the currency, which is hyperinflation. So I think there's a probability of all those happening, and I'm leaning more towards the hyperinflation. But what do you do if you think, like my friend, that bonds are going to do well? Well, he's telling me that the corporate bonds, like Microsoft 40-year bond, for example, their spread to the 30-year Treasury, that's narrowing. And what does that mean? Well, people are starting to buy the corporate bonds, so the spread is narrowing. He thinks that having a yield 2, 3, or 4% over the next decades is going to be very important, and that's why he sees bond prices continue to go up. We'll have to see. But if you do want to get involved, and you're not a huge investor who has a bond broker, you can look at TLT ETF. That's an ETF that tracks treasuries, US treasuries, with a maturity of around 20 years. So I'm not advising people to do that. I'm just saying that's what you can do. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Please share it far and wide. Think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet. And you can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and all these other platforms below here. I wish you all a great day. Take care. Bye.